So to do the Gaige part of the reverse wildlife strats for co-op, what's gonna happen is the Axton is gonna drop you off somewhere around here. Typically, it might be a little higher up, might be a little bit farther back. Doesn't really matter. Once you're here, you want to just kind of jump down and follow this path. And you want to make sure that you're keeping an eye on Axton. Because when he's in the air and falling into the docks, you want to look at one of the rack. That's typically what I do. That procs Skull Skip, which is just a piece of tutorial dialogue, which will save a bit of time. Not a big deal though. Also, one thing to note is, as a Gaige, you want to make sure you have at least 4 grenades coming in here. During Sanctuary Escape, in the 2-player route, is when you buy grenades, buy SDUs. You should always have 4 grenades here, and sometimes you might have 5. If you have 5 grenades, then once you get here, you can grenade jump up top. You don't have to. If you have 4 grenades, however, what you can do is you can just kind of make this jump. Not like that, of course. There you go. You can just jump up here. I would recommend trying to do this without a grenade, which for reasons I'll get to later. One, because sometimes you only have 4 grenades, and if you only have 4 grenades, then you can't do this jump with a grenade. So to do jump nadeless, what you're gonna want to do is you want to look for like this little corner there, and that's where you want to jump off of. And then about halfway through your jump, you want to start holding A. I'm getting a bit late here. Jump off that corner, halfway through, start holding A. Get up every time. This jump is quite similar. You want to jump, and then halfway through you want to start holding A, so you can make it across the rock. If you have high FPS, you can sometimes get caught on this rock. So typically people play to cap to 120 or caps 144. You just want to jump, you're holding A, you make it across. You want to follow this path up here, and then jump on top. This is great. You want to be mindful of the surveyors that spawn here. They can sometimes screw you up. Typically they don't, because you have Axton pulling aggro from being down in the docks. But they have messed me up in runs before, so just be mindful of that. Then you want to jump up here. I like to jump on the railings and then jump off as late as possible. Land on top of this thing. If you don't land on top of it, you just jump up. Doesn't really matter. Now once you're here, you want to get on top of this AC unit. So just do a grenade jump. That one's not too bad. And in this one, we want to get on top of this. One quick thing to note is that this little slanted portion here is not solid at all. You can fall through and fall down into this. That's very, very bad. You can see the which, like this platform here, that is solid. And that's just the top part of it. So to do this, you just do a grenade jump. Very similar to Super Skip and Bloodshot. However, this one is much, much easier. Because you don't need anywhere near as much height. In fact, the only reason we really use the second grenade is because you need more distance than anything. You need distance from the second grenade. So what I do is I like jump. I do this motion where I like jump and then start on up. It's like kind of like that. After the third one, so I throw my second grenade down, and I'm like 1, 2. That's my timing for it. Give it some practice, and I'm sure you'll get it. And then finally, we use our last grenade up here. Now this is why I said if you have 4 grenades, you can't do that first grenade jump. Is because if you have only 4 grenades at this point, you need 1 to get on top of this like AC unit looking thing. You need 2 to do the double grenade jump up here. And then you need a 4th one to get up here. So if you only have 4, you have to make sure you don't use your grenade for the first one. Then you come up here. You want to do like a weird kind of strafe jump. Here. It's really finicky, really awkward. It's gonna take you a while to get the hang of it. In runs, you're gonna mess it up. This has cost me like literally a minute in runs before. But it looks something like that. And then you get up here. Now we want to get up here. You can't just jump straight for it because there's invisible walls and stuff. You want to come out a little bit and then jump towards it. And then we want to get to this yellow little thing here, and can't just run straight towards it because invisible walls. If you just run and jump straight at it, you might go falling off. One place you can fall into that is quite annoying is right here. However, if you have a grenade, like if I fall into here, this has happened to me, and you throw a grenade like right there, you can get out. So that's why I would recommend, even if you have 5 grenades at the start, not using one there. Because use your 4 grenades to get up here, and then you can use your 5th one there if need be. But again, do what works for you. So then once you're on this yellow bit, you just want to run to the end here. Run through these pillars. They don't exist. And once we get to this grate, we want to hit this save. So I know I hit it because I see the save icon. And at this point, you want to make sure that the accident doesn't hit any other save points. If the accident does hit some save points, you want to make sure that you re-hit this. So you might have to run away and run back if accident hits another save. So after you hit the save, you want to run back here as quickly as possible, and we're going to do a death war. The reason we don't just down ourselves and bleed out is because we want to preserve our anarchy for the Bloodwing fight. So if we see the bleed out animation, then we lose our anarchy. So we want to avoid seeing the bleed out animation by hitting a death plane. So if you run back here and come to the wall at the end here, you can see there's a little crevice here we can fall into. And beneath this is a death plane, conveniently. And so what we do is we just run off. You don't want to run too far to the left here, because the death plane actually ends somewhere around here. And if you miss the death plane, you will just fall for like 5 minutes. You just want to run off and go to the right. You don't need to go super far to the right, just go right-ish, and you should hit it. So now we're here at the end of the map, next to Bloodwing. The Gaige's job at this point is to get into the Bloodwing arena, and we can't just hit the button and go down, because this button is an all-players trigger, and Axton is off getting the feather. You have to do other stuff. What typically happens is you spawn in, pick up these ammo crates, which I've already looted. These give you grenades back. And then you jump on top of this crate, and do a grenade jump. Usually there's like an engineer that pretty much always spawns out of this door. Don't shoot him. He shouldn't aggro on you. He should just kind of ignore you. And so you can get out of bounds here. Now we're on top of the roof. So what I like to do is I like to jump and fall through this piece of ceiling here and land here. Then you run forward and just straight and land on this little lip here. Sometimes one unfortunate thing can happen is you can fall down here, or you can fall down here. And what happens is it's very bad. You're stuck down here, kind of. Except there is a backup you can do. If you have 5 grenades at this point, there's a backup you can do. So if you ever fall down here, and you've had 5 grenades total, you should have 4 left, because you used 1 to get out of bounds initially. So if you have 4 left, what you can do is you can jump on top of this platform here. Run over here, jump on top of this platform, with your grenade. You can land on this pillar. Make sure you land on the pillar, because not everything is solid. This pillar is. And finally, you kind of just go for a jump straight through this wall. It looks kind of weird, because you can't really see what you're doing, but you just go through the wall, and you're back up top here. So then, what you want to have happen is I fall down here, I jump up here, and then I'm running off. What's going to happen is I'm going to fall through the ceiling here, but right now there's an invisible wall here. It ends very shortly. What's going to happen is I'm going to sprint, run forward, and then as soon as I start moving left, I'm going to let go of sprint. So I just fall down, land like here. You want to land on this yellow thing. Not too difficult. You'll be able to get it. And finally, we're going to jump into the arena. This isn't solid, this little slab thing here. But this jump is kind of awkward. Because what we're going to do is I hug the wall, and then you want to strafe jump into this thing. It is kind of awkward, but not too bad once you get the hang of it. One thing that can happen, though, is if you miss it, like you're like, oh no, I missed it, you fell down here. And this is the same spot from before. So if you did everything correctly up at this point, you can just do the backup and then try it again. Back up here, do something like this. Now you're in the arena. So one thing to note is once you're in here, don't go past this crate. Stand right about here. Like, don't go past the halfway mark of this crate. This is about as far forward as you can go, is where I am. The cutscene trigger is always active, regardless of what you've done. If you have the mission wildlife preservation open, the cutscene trigger is active for Bloodwing. And if you hit the cutscene trigger before Axton picks up the feather, you will hard lock your game and not be able to finish the run. So make sure that Axton picks up the feather before you activate the cutscene. And that's how you do wildlife.